What's up, everybody? Welcome to my little impromptu live stream. This is the first one ever on my channel. So, I'm not good with the introduction, but I see everyone in here. Dragons W, Francis Pitts. What's up, Frank? I'm so happy to see all of you here. Deb B, Chris Jarvis. What does Steve always say? One of the best mods in the business. UFO Bigfoot, Steven Vigilante, best name in the business. Amir Yazel, you know what? We will think about that, getting some merch that says hello, friends. I'm so happy that you guys came out. Jeannie Lindquist, what's up, everybody? Thank you so much. Don't mind the body that was just on the screen. It was a slow day in New Jersey here. That's why there was only one. As you guys know, Steve's always here with me, as usual, so I'm going to let him come in and not be so awkward.
Okay, I'm here now.
That's
Had
you.
to turn my mic on.
Hey, Johnny, Jack de Benedetto, Widow Wink. All right, Steve, it's all you.
It's your show. Hey everybody, how we doing? Who we got here? Stephen Vigilante. Yeah, I love that name. That's one of my favorite last names. Funwrecker. Chris Jarvis. Yeah, he has the authority to crack heads with that blue wrench now. Jeannie Lindquist. Hello from Florida. Let you Florida people know I've got a special show coming up for you Friday night on Missing Persons and Mysteries. I'm not going to say anything, but just tune in. Viffer 800. Good evening from Liverpool, England. Got a nice,
Fun Wrecker, love the name.
you got a nice little crowd here, people, for your first stream.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at that, 15 watching, 15 likes. That's pretty
That's
awesome.
awesome.
So, what I wanted to just do tonight is just kind of shoot the breeze, kind of like we do on Fireside Chat. Just talk about paranormal, talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I need to get some live streams up on my channel. And you guys know I'm awkward AF, but I'm doing my best. Viffer 800. Just everybody, thank you so much for being here. And I'm just really happy. So let us know. What do you guys want to cover? Did you guys check out Spaced Out Radio? That was so much
Yeah,
fun. I
we
want to
had
do that
a great
again.
time on there, and that set a record as far as the views on their YouTube channel. We've got more views than things that have been up like over a year. So we rocked the house over there, and they've already emailed us like the next day, want us to come back. So we will be back on Spaced Out Radio
Rock
rather.
stars!
Hopefully about the time our book comes out. Cindy or Gemma, you want to tell them about our book?
It's not the first time. Yes, our book, which I think we talked about last Sunday, is just going to be a book of short paranormal stories, but we're going to find like other things to put in it too, like maybe a list of haunted somethings in each state, whether it be cemeteries, houses, haunted asylums, haunted woods, something. I'm thinking maybe from state to state, or kind of want to include everybody in that. And I'm actually starting to write my first story tomorrow. I'm so, so, so excited. I don't know why I'm so nervous right now. Um, Hi, Debbie. I don't know why I'm so nervous because we do this every Sunday, but I think I just feel like
Well,
a
it's
little
the
pressured because
first
it's my
time on your
channel.
channel. Yeah, you're responsible for it now.
Even though I'm still doing the same thing I do on Sunday nights, I'm just sitting here talking into my phone. Do you have any
Viffer,
werewolf
I was
stories?
just going to
Ooh.
say, I just got a lot of about, I want to say a dozen or so werewolf books, like true werewolf stories and about the legends and lore of the lycanthrope. So, yes, watch for werewolf stories coming up on some channel or the other. This one or mine or Missing Persons and Mysteries, somewhere out there. For those of you that are new here, check out Missing Persons and Mysteries at midnight. I know that's late for you guys because it's midnight Pacific, but 3 a.m. Eastern Time. I run Ghost Stories at midnight over there. We're up to episode 14. Usually runs about 4 or 5 hours. Have classic stories, most of it Victorian from people like Edgar Allan Poe, Algernon Blackwood, Ambrose Bierce, M.R. James, Jerome K. Jerome. Really good classic ghost stories, fictional but good nonetheless. And that's every night, midnight, on 13 Past Midnight, Ghost Stories at Midnight. A lot of midnights going on there.
You should start it at midnight.
It
Like,
does.
oh no, you should start it at 13 past midnight.
I thought about that.
People will be like, oh, I gotta wait to 13 minutes.
13 minutes.
You guys are actually really cool, though. I've gotten such a positive response coming into the paranormal and even the true crime community as well. I am, I'm focusing more like I usually do on the true crime right now, but I am slowly going into the paranormal, moving more towards that. Not that I'm going to stop true crime, but I am going to definitely ramp up the paranormal aspect. I just kind of, not that I enjoy that more, but I notice it's not as touchy of a subject. I had a little issue with, a family member, and
Yeah, I was
they
gonna
were
say
psychotic.
I've yet to hear of Bigfoot or Dogman's family coming into a chat and saying, "Hey, what are you talking about?"
Yeah, that's what I mean. It wasn't like a family member like, "Hey, I didn't know true crime YouTube exists, and I'm not really comfortable." This lady was an absolute psycho, and I'm sorry to say that because she was the, family member of the victim, but oh my God. I was terrified to cover Kelly Nash because that's why I put a disclaimer in there. Yeah, and like you said with the paranormal, I might get a BEK knock or an MIB visit, but I think I'd rather that than some like
Yeah,
psycho
that
telling me
would
I
be kind of
triggered her
neat.
post-traumatic stress because I said her son was handsome and kind. It was just very weird.
Yeah,
So
well,
I was very nervous doing Kelly Nash, to be honest with you. I was worried. Now I'm like, oh, but the response has been mainly positive. I get the people talking about the hot mess recovery stuff, and I had someone say that I'm not credible because of the hot mess recovery stuff. I have to develop kind of a thicker skin. But Jack there, he knows me from my other life since I'm 7 years old, and I am definitely a karaoke fanatic, but I haven't done it in 9 years, Jack. 9 years. I sing Britney Spears, by the way, guys.
leave Brittany alone.
That would be me. I'm a total fangirl for Britney Spears. I'm gonna lose so much credibility, but
Well,
I love it. I'm that person dancing around with a broom, Tom Cruise style, sliding across the floor. Only I'm singing like, "Do Something" by Britney Spears or something. So
There's a
yeah,
hashtag movement, Free Britney 2020 or 2021. Have you seen anything about that?
I haven't seen anything about that, but I do know where it's probably coming from is the Twitter. She keeps going on. I don't know if she's, on something or what's going on with her. She's had a really hard life because of
Oh,
I guess, being famous so young. Not that we're going to keep talking about Britney, but it was something weird that she was doing on Twitter. And the people were saying, if you're being held captive, wear a yellow shirt and do a spin.
and she
And
did
in her
all
next
that.
video,
Yeah,
she wore a yellow shirt and she was dancing and doing
I
spins.
think
So,
it was on her
yeah, exactly,
Instagram.
CJ.
It was on her Instagram,
Yeah.
and a lot of it's because she's still in a conservatorship. So her father kind of pulls all the strings there. I mean, he's got her money, he's got everything. He has
Right.
her basically, and
Um,
I can understand at one point maybe she needed that, but that's been a long time ago. So
yeah, I could go into the whole thing, but I won't because it's not why we're here. Daniel Berger or Danielle or whatever.
looks
I'm
like
not sure if you're
Danielle.
Daniel or Danielle. I think it's Danielle. People in AANA shouldn't judge. Oh, exactly. I mean, to attack my credibility because, I'm in recovery, which I don't even really talk about with the paranormal community. It just happens that when I started my channel, I was going to do recovery and true crime. And then I realized maybe I should separate the two just because, mainly because with Hot Mess Recovery, I don't want to be censored. I'm never going to get monetized on that channel, I don't think. And I'm okay with that. But doing this full time, being a full time mom, I did need to get monetized somewhere. So I decided to separate it. But for people to come and judge me because of that, I didn't even realize that could happen because it's so foreign to me. It's just a part of my life. It's not something I talk about. And people were getting angry with Steve because they said, that he shouldn't be having people like me, fact checking and writing for the channel, especially after how good the other writers were. And people were saying that there's a reason I'm bringing all this up, not a pity party for Gemma, that the stories that come in, and Steve and I were laughing about this. These stories that come in for the reader, the subscriber stories, right? So I'm sorry, I was reading a comment. So the stories that come in, they said that the stories can't possibly be true because when Steve reads them, they sound like they're coming from professional writers, as though Steve doesn't correct the grammar. Jason Parker, hello from Georgia. I am Caleb Smith's uncle and did not know about your show until you done the piece on him in Keesland. Thank you for what you do. Not to interrupt what I was talking about, but if you are Caleb's uncle, it's not that I don't believe you. I've just have had people say there were other people. His mother reached out to me and I reached back out to her. I really wanted to talk to her because she said she had information for me, but I didn't want to keep bothering her about it. I really appreciate that. She sent me the most beautiful um, message, and I really do want to contact her again. So if you could maybe pass that message on to Caleb Smith's mother. I was in tears. I have 4 sons myself. I have, in recovery myself. That case really got to me, as you can see from my video. And if you could maybe, I don't know, mention it to her. I don't want to continuously, reach out to her. I can't even imagine what she's going through, but I'm willing to put out whatever she wants put out. No problem at all. Interview her, speak with her, let her have a say, or just talk to her, off the record. So, Jason Parker, thank you. I appreciate that. So, Steve, yeah, what about the one that was like, you can tell that they're written by professional writers?
Yeah, somebody was like, those stories that are supposed to be listener stories, those are professional writers. It's all bullshit and made up. Well, no, what it is, see, I have a degree in English, a couple of them, in fact, which, along with $5, will get you a cup of coffee at Starbucks. But if I send, and you should see, and this is not anything on anybody, I mean, as long as you can communicate a story, I'll tell it. But sometimes I do go in, I never change the content or the way the story is, but I will go in and correct the grammar, the punctuation, the flow. I mean, they're literally, and again, this is not anything personal against anybody. I appreciate each and every story that's ever sent to me. But I've had one that was just one big, long, run on paragraph. I mean, like 2 or 3 pages worth. No grammar, no punctuation. I've got to go in and try to figure out what they're saying and how they say it. And I do edit in that regard, just for clarity and flow. I don't, like I said, I don't change any of the particulars of the story. It's still the same story. I just put it in a cohesive format that is easy for people to listen to than to try to decipher, And like I said, I know not everybody has the same education or even cares for that matter, but I try to make it as pleasant as I can for anybody, and that's just me. So
I want to, I actually want to, I'm just typing something real quick, but I'm actually going to read it. I want to read this one comment, and then I want you guys to hear my response because I was so proud of myself for keeping it classy. Wait till you guys hear this. Watch. I have to scroll through all my selfies because I'm the selfie queen. Here it is. Okay. So this person wrote underneath one of our live streams, I don't know about this channel anymore. Some of the stories are put in from listeners, but they are writers. They are telling nonsense. Just listen. No one speaks the way these people are writing. It's a weird subject that should be backed with solid info. Definitely not Gemma and her detox from dope videos and that jazz. Doesn't really cry credible here, especially after the other hosts. Need to tighten up, Steve. And someone wrote underneath, you're not wrong. And Serious Operator, I believe I know who that is. And I just realized I know who that is. What a jerk. So I wrote back, this particular live stream is a project by myself and Steve, and I never mention my recovery ever during these live streams or anywhere on this channel. Also, that has nothing to do with the credibility of my research or my ability to do my job. I'm clean more than 2 years, thank you, and haven't posted a recovery video in more than 4 months. This live stream is about us having conversations with the people in the chat and isn't meant to contain any stories and is all about opinions. Opinions do not need to be backed up by facts, and we take people at their word as far as when someone describes a personal experience, because this is meant to be fun and lighthearted. This isn't an educational video. I'm impressed that on a karmic level, you are doing well enough to pass judgments on someone you don't even know. That's great for you. 1 in 10 are addicted to something. There's a statistical fact for you. God bless. And by the way, it's free to get in here. So maybe in your case, you got what you paid for. Okay, thanks so much. Bye. And as far as Serious Operator, maybe I should play some of the love songs that he's been sending to me, or perhaps the poem he wrote. Now I know who that is, jerk. Viffer, yeah, definitely. They're jealous.
Yeah,
They're
and
jealous.
that's
I'm brushing
anything
off my
to
shoulders right
get
now.
any degree of success, and the haters are just going to come with it, and that's to be expected. And
I've got to develop a thicker
just
skin,
gotta
man. I
roll
get
with it.
so pissed. I was
Well,
crying when
I
I
was
read
going to say,
that.
and now that you're going over into writing and you're going to be an author, you really need a thick skin. Rejection is just a way of life. I couldn't tell you how many manuscripts and film scripts and things I've had rejected, but you just, you stick them on a nail and go for the next one. And then, now I've got 3 books published, 3 more on the way, and whatever we're up to is that's going to be published. Or we don't have to worry about publishers and things because I'm already in that zone. So it's just, it is what it is. And again, it's not for everybody. No, we don't vet the stories, and that there's a reason for that. Um, I think back on some of the experiences I've had. If somebody told me some of those stories, I would probably have difficulty believing it if I hadn't been there to witness it myself and be a part of it. But again, who am I to judge? This isn't.
Could you imagine?
I'm not here to
Sorry,
judge
go ahead.
anybody's story or to say, oh, you're lying or you're full of shit or whatever. No, tell a story like it's told to me. I've got a whole book of stories that's that's the way they were told to me. I retold them. Yeah, I may have prettied them up a little bit as far as language and punctuation and grammar, but it is what it is. If you don't like my books, there's other books out there that you might like. Why harbor on something negative? Or again, I've had people come in like on our some of our streams and say, well, what's this? Why are you doing this? And it clearly, or like when Bill puts those compilations together, I've heard all these before. That's like buying a greatest hits album and then complaining because you've heard all the songs on it before. When it says,
Could you
clearly
imagine
this is a
sending?
compilation of our 10 best videos or whatever, yeah, you're probably going to hear some stuff you've heard before. So,
Could you imagine sending in a story to Steve and Bill, and Steve emails you back and he's like, excuse me, but can you please back this up with some factual information?
yeah, we
And
need
by
some
the way, fix
facts.
your spelling and grammar.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a D minus on this paper, correct it, and get it back to me. Then maybe I'll narrate your story. No, it doesn't work like that in the real world, and just, yeah, something I don't
It's
understand
just,
people.
yeah, it just really got to me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell everybody. I just can't believe I realized who that person, like just now it clicked in my head who the Serious Operator is. Wow, that's so funny. What a jerk off. So someone said my wig background for my true crime videos is creepy.
You should draw
Is that the
faces.
point?
Draw faces on the
I
wig heads.
should.
Put big googly
I
eyes
should do
on
the
them and
makeup.
have them screaming or something. But no,
I
I
don't
think
know,
it's
guys.
wonderful that you've got clean time. Why would somebody not want to celebrate that? Why would somebody not be happy for you that you are in recovery and you've been that way for a couple of years now? I think it's something to celebrate. Congratulations.
I got Thank you. I got a dislike before we even started. And Steve's like, Jesus, can't they just wait until we start so we could at least get a view out
Yeah.
of it?
Yeah, then it counts as a view once the things. I mean, how do you know you don't like something if you haven't seen it? Now that's popular
I
with a
know
lot
who
of
that is
people.
too.
There are a lot of
So guys,
people that protest movies and things. Well, have you seen it? Well, no, but I know I'm not going to like it. Okay.
I love you too, Mom. Hi. I'm glad you're here. I just said to Steve, I didn't send the individual links. I wonder if they're coming. You know what I wanted to talk to you guys about? Steve and I were talking about writing to serial killers. And I believe, Steve, you said that you have some letters and you have written to some. And I was thinking, well, I got to get a P.O. box.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
And a fake name. So
yeah,
say hi to
P.O.
Mama
box.
Carol real quick. Hi, Mom. Now, this was back in the 80s and 90s. I don't know if anybody here remembers the zine explosion. And like nowadays, everybody has a podcast. Well, back in the late 80s and early 90s, everybody had a zine. And what that was, it was just a little self-produced magazine. It was usually like an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper folded in half. So that would give you 4 pages. So 2 sheets would give you 8 pages and so on up to 16, 32, 64 pages or whatever. Self-produced, xerography done on a copy machine and distributed. There were things like Fact Sheet 5, which was like a clearinghouse. You had them about music, you had them about all kinds of special interests. It was niche stuff, narrow casting, if you will. And there was a really big true crimes area in there. And I put out a couple of different true crime zines and wrote for other ones. Plus, I wrote for the local newspapers. And hey, I'm the paranormal Bob Ross. but
Oh, that's it.
But I wrote for the local papers. I covered crimes and mostly murder trials and things like that. And also wrote for those lurid detective magazines, Startling Detective and Shocking Detective. And I don't know if they even have those anymore, but you see them like in the drugstore on the shelves. They put them up on the top and usually had somebody with a knife or a gun on the cover menacing a girl that had her clothes ripped. It was real, like I said, really trashy stuff.
A busty blonde with red lipstick.
Murder Can Be Fun. That was, what was the guy that put that out? San Francisco Bay Area. What was his name? Johnny Marr had a zine called Murder Can Be Fun. That was one of my favorites. He covered a lot of stuff in there that every now and then you still see references to him. But yeah, that was one of my favorite zines.
Danielle, I'm going to get to that in a couple minutes, soon as Steve is done.
But what I did, I went and got, it wasn't a P.O. box. It was like one of these mailboxes, etc. So it gives an actual street name and a suite number, so that sounds like you've got an office or something, but it wasn't, a little P.O. box. And I started writing some of these guys, and I got letters from Gacy, I got letters from Charles Manson, I got letters from Tex Watson, Robert Bardo, Pam Smart, Pammy, as she liked to be called. She always sent perfumed letters, and but a lot of them, they were just so creepy, and they would try to get into your head and stuff, whether they were either looking to get you to have sympathy for them or just something to pass the time. I think there was a lot of role playing and stuff there. Certain ones would pass your name around, like Manson was notorious for that. If you wrote to Charles Manson, he would write you back, but then he would pass your address around. You'd get all this weird mail, and it made you thankful that we have prisons and thankful that you have a P.O. box, so they couldn't follow you down. But it was interesting. I'd written Gacy asking about his artwork. As many of you probably know, he was a painter and painted these real weird, creepy paintings and stuff. Well, because of the Son of Sam law, which says that the criminals can't make money from their crimes, they ruled down that in Gacy against him, and I said that he couldn't sell his paintings because they represented his crimes in some regard. But he had I think it was a lawyer friend in Louisiana that had opened up a little gallery and sold his paintings. And I bought one of his skull clowns. If you've ever seen those paintings, I think I paid like $100 for it. But again, it was just having it hanging in my house. It was like, that's weird. This guy that murdered 32 or 33 people or more painted that and touched it and imbued something of him into it, and it just kind of gave me the creep, especially after my daughter was born. So I sold it. I got like $300 for it, and now it's worth about $3,000. I wish I'd bought a truckload of them at $100 a piece, put them in storage where I didn't have to look at them. And now I'd buy that house in Gatlinburg for us and the Sprinter van so we can travel around the country doing our live paranormal remotes. But that's neither here nor there. But it was very interesting, just some of the mail I got back. Some of them seemed truly penitent and sorry for what they'd done. And then people like Manson, he was just so far out there. I remember he asked me what I did or something one time, and I was working in computers at the time as well as my day gig. And I mentioned a computer, and that just lit him up. And it was just pure classic Charlie. He's like, yeah, that's what I always said. It's either a 1 or a 0. It's either on or off. A 0 with a slash through it. That's me. That's where I'm at, man. And I'm just like, wow. But it was exactly what you would expect from Charlie. But I think a lot of times Charlie recognized that and he just played a part, because we did have some fairly lucid conversations about music and things. But yeah, just kind of lost track of all that because my daughter was born, and kind of gave up on all that. And it was one of those creepy things. I've talked about it in the paranormal realm as well, but when you peer into these guys' minds, when paraphrasing Nietzsche here, when you peer into the abyss peers into you. That happens with criminals or some of these true crime cases or paranormal things. You got to step back and push away from it. And that's kind of what I did with the true
Well,
crime. And there you go.
well, what I was, first of all, you need to say, now here's a happy little ghost over there for Jack.
Now here's a happy little ghost over here. There's a little smiling shadow man here in the corner. There are no paranormal coincidences. Are no mistakes.
And so the reason I can't. The reason I brought up the writing to the serial killers is because I am going to get a P.O. box and I am going to write to some of them. Like that one girl, I'm not going to write a book or anything, probably. But the one woman made a ton of money writing that book, Letters with Chris Watts, and she got his permission. She wrote back and forth with him. But I'm talking serial killers, not scumbags who kill their families because of some, when you cheat up and you don't kill kids. That's all I have to say. So anyway, my point was I'm upset a little bit. Okay, now hear me out, guys, because I want to know, does anybody know why there's one serial killer that I don't want to say he's my favorite because he's a serial killer, and my favorite serial killer is actually Joel Rifkin, but why was Ted Bundy executed so quickly? All of these other guys are still alive. Son of Sam was like right around the time of Bundy, or maybe even a little bit before. And Ted Bundy was executed so quickly. And I will never get to pick his brain, and I will never get to talk to Ted Bundy. And it really kind of upsets me. I was actually doing dishes earlier, and this thought popped into my head. I was like, oh, man. Yeah. I'm never going to get to talk to Bundy. Does anyone know why he was executed so fast?
Well, my theory on that was that it was in Florida, and they don't screw around down there with their death penalty cases. There, a lot of people ride the lightning in Florida, and he murdered a 12-year-old girl, and that just, no sympathy, no mercy for him, and I agree.
I was thinking of that too. And you know what's messed up too? I watch everything Ted Bundy. I told you guys the one night I was flipping through and my son was like, "Ooh, mommy, Ted." And I have no idea. I guess I must watch it enough that my 2.5-year-olds picked it up. But I was thinking about back in, I guess it maybe was 2011. My boyfriend at the time and his name was Billy. Jack, you remember Billy? So we decided to take off and go to Florida, and we really didn't have any goal. We ended up in Texas in Fort Hood, no less, with my sister and my brother-in-law who was in the Army. But we ended up in this tiny little like nowhere town in Florida called Lake City. And I recently came to realize that that is where Ted Bundy killed that little girl in Lake City. And I didn't know back then, or I would have wanted to like cruise the streets. We just stayed kind of in this ratty hotel on the highway and then went straight through to Texas. But if I had known that then, like that's the kind of show Steve and I want to eventually get, kind of like Paranormal Road Trip. But like I want to walk like I think the show's name is Dark Minds, where he like walks the path that the killer must have walked and like goes by the windows of like the houses where the killer peeped. You know what I mean? Like I really love that show. I think it's called Dark Minds, where they talk to a serial killer that has a code name. One was Raven, it was Joel Rifkin. The other one was 13. It was the happy face killer, Jesperson. Do you guys know what sorry, I got tongue tied. What show I'm just talking about? Dark Minds. It's got like that Phelps guy.
I can't think of that. That sounds right, but I don't want to say for sure.
Yeah, his name is Phelps. I can't look it up because I have like 15 tabs open because I'm reading a script for Bill. So I just watched a new, speaking of DeFeo, I just watched a new Amityville horror. It's called Shock Docs, and it's on Investigation Discovery, the Discovery Plus app, the streaming app. And I mean, what a great documentary. I would love to speak to him because so many people said he came out and said that he wasn't possessed. So many people hearing exactly from him. It wasn't as much as people made it out to be, but he did say that he was sitting there one night after he had been having these crazy thoughts, and a shadowy black figure came out of that little room that was in the downstairs. That was really a room, a hidden room in the basement. Handed him the gun and told him to go do this, and it just tortured him for months and months. Do I believe that? I really don't know. But man, to talk to him,
I'd love
I
to
definitely
pick
had to
his
get a
brain
PO
too,
box.
because there's something about that whole thing that just never sat well with me. All the people were murdered in their beds. They were all face down. They didn't show that they had put up any fight or any struggle at all. Now, the only one, I
Right,
think
the dad didn't wake up when the mom was shot, you know?
the middle brother, he had like a back injury playing football or something. So I could understand maybe he didn't get up, but nobody even attempted to get up. There's even one theory I read about where his sister, I think her name was Heather or something like that, actually helped him kill the parents, and then he killed her. So who knows? But it's just there's so much mystery and stuff surrounding it anyway. And then the whole thing with the Lutz family, is that their name? The ones the Amityville
The
horror
Lutz, yeah.
Lutz, yeah.
See,
So
I heard that 80% of it was fake too, but I'm telling you, this new documentary about the real Amityville house, they told the story in a pretty comprehensive way where it felt to me like they were kind of casting out all of the BS. They were sorting through what was real, what they thought was real, what wasn't, what could be proven. They did it. Did anyone see the Elisa Lam thing, the Cecil Hotel thing on Netflix? I finally
I
watched.
finished watching it
Okay.
last night. That was excellent, by the way.
I finally agree that maybe Elisa Lam did go in there during a bipolar episode, but I never thought I would believe that until I saw this broken down in a comprehensive way from people that were involved. And that's what they did with this documentary. It's called Shock Docs. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's available anywhere aside from the Investigation Discovery Channel. Now, they had the streaming app, Discovery Plus. Now, they had the priest that had went in to bless the home for the Lutz, and he said that he did not have the flies there. The director of the movie said that he wanted something to kind of make what the priest felt and heard, because the priest did hear a demonic voice telling him to get out. The priest's name was Ray. That's how I remember. So he said he needed something tangible to show the people. But flies are a symbol of the demonic. Now, this priest did not go outside and immediately tell the Lutzes, like, hey, I just heard a demonic voice in your house. Like, he didn't tell them anything. He just left and said, who's going to be sleeping in the upstairs attic room? And when they said it was going to be used as an office, he was like, oh, okay, peace out. And
Okay,
left.
good. I'm out of here. Bye. Good
You
luck.
know, like, bye, bruh. Unbelievable. I think the place was haunted before the murders, Chris, definitely.
Yeah,
I think
supposedly one of
that
those that's on cursed land or whatever, something to do with the whatever Native
they
American
also
tribe
brought
was in
that
there.
up. And I think moving in with children, I think children awaken demonic entities too. And I think what DeFeo ended up doing, let's just say the house was on cursed land and what happened to DeFeo actually happened, right? So that awoke, I think, a thirst in this entity or these entities, whatever they were, because Lutz, the guy Lutz, I can't remember his name, his first name, he also said that he'd be sitting there having dinner and he would hear, you know, a voice, a demonic voice telling him to kill the family. And again, the children, the imaginary friend named Jody, that was a real thing, allegedly. And I watched the shock doc of the real story behind The Exorcist. The Exorcist is a movie I have never been able to make it through. Mom, I don't know if you're still in here, but I remember on Crooks Ave, Uncle Ed told me that that was going to happen to me because I was a Catholic. I was like 8 years old. I could never finish that movie, and I've been terrified of demonic possession ever since, until I was rebaptized as an adult in 2016. You know, because we believe you have to be baptized when you're old enough to state it. And also, you know, it has to be your choice, not like Catholics with infant baptism. So making that choice made me feel a lot better, but I still cannot get through The Exorcist. So I watched the alleged real story of the exorcism of Roland Doe. Did you guys know he grew up to be a rocket, like a literal rocket scientist? Hello?
Oh, I thought, were you
Are you
asking
there?
me? I thought
No,
you
I was
were.
just talking in general.
I
Did
thought
you
you were
guys know
asking the
that? Like,
chat. No, I did not know that. Get back to the DeFeo though. Uh, Amityville Horror. Have you ever seen that picture from Ed and Lorraine Warren, where they took it inside the house, and there's like this creepy little boy with glowing eyes, uh, like upstairs, peeking through the banister. And this was when the house was empty after the murders and everything had already occurred.
I didn't see it. I'm gonna rewatch the documentary just because it was really good. And I bet you they show it in there. Bomber, don't worry. My mom told me I can't do it. So therefore, no Ouija board for Gemma.
Bomber's really
My mom
worried
was like,
about
you
you and
better
that
not.
Ouija board.
My mom's like, you better not unless I'm there. No, I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
No, just that picture is chilling. And like I said, the house was supposed to be empty, and they were just in there taking pictures. And there's this little demonic-looking boy peering. I think he's peering around the door frame, or I think he's upstairs. I haven't seen the picture in a long time, but I just remember the image of the little boy's face. His eyes are like huge and glowing. But it was probably infrared film, but still, it's very very creepy. See if you can find that picture.
Ooh, Viffer, every time you say something, I'm like, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah. You have a very interesting brain I'd like to pick. All of you guys do. You're so open-minded. That's why I love our crowd. I love the people that support Steve and myself. You guys are the absolute best. I mean, just so open-minded, so accepting, so friendly. You guys accepted me into this community so fast. Like, you just took me at my word and let me do my thing, and then I earned respect. Like, you guys gave me that chance. No other community, no other online community, including really true crime. I have some queen bee coming after me. I mean, nobody has ever been this accepting. And throughout my life, I've always been a part of the outcast. And if you guys, I'm not trying to be offensive calling y'all outcasts, but I think the paranormal community, especially online, is kind of an outcast group that I absolutely love to be a part of. And it just really warms my heart. You guys are so accepting. You guys are so interesting. The subscriber stories, I just want to personally talk to every single one of you. And Viffer, I definitely would love to have a conversation with you, because everything you've said so far, I've been like, oh my God, yeah, me too. Oh my God, yeah, me too. Bomber, Gemma, and Steve. Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. I can't wait for the book. We're going to be going on some paranormal road trips. We're doing it all. I'm so excited that this is my life right now. You have no idea what the past 2, 3, 7 years have been like for me, that I'm just in awe of how Steve has helped me. You guys have helped me, and I get to do something I absolutely love, like for my job. Are you kidding? This is awesome.
Oh,
Love you
and same
guys.
here. I'm blessed by all my channels and everything. This is what I do for a living, and I love it. It's not like working. I don't have to clock in. I can take a nap. I can work in my underwear, and nobody sends me home. I don't get sent to HR for sitting around in my underwear.
They say that about, oh, that's interesting. The Watts house. Yeah. I watched those videos too, where they're like, the Watts house is haunted. Now, some of them, of course, try to put that creep factor in there. Like, I saw one, it's like, the kids were already deceased at this point. Whose kids are those in the background? They were that lady Nicole's kids. They were the friend Nicole's kids, and they were playing in the little girl's room while they were looking for Shanann and the kids. But I definitely heard the giggle when the women with the dogs opened the closet door. Um, there was one other thing that I saw. I have great energy. That reminded me, thank you so much. Steve once said to me, try to do a live stream, try to do all this when you haven't had an energy drink. Do you know I didn't have one today because I drank my second one last night? And here I am.
It will. I've had this doing the stream itself, going live will give me a boost, and it's like afterwards too. You get that, like, it's almost like a runner's high or whatever you want to call it. The only thing
Yeah.
I can ever equate it to, when I used to do stand up comedy, and you're connecting with the audience, and you're making everybody laugh. Then when the show's over and you walk off stage, you've still got that energy that you've been pulling from this audience, and this high almost, and that'll last sometimes for hours. I've been doing stand up in a club before and come off stage, and for the next 2 or 3 hours, I'm just like blah 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 blah, and bouncing off the walls. It's kind of the same way with this
Yeah.
sometimes. When I end a stream, I'm like, yeah, what can I do next? Let's do another stream. Come on, let's
Yeah,
go. Let's
that's
stay up all
exactly. I'm
night.
finally going to get some work done tonight. I mean, even going into this, I was like, man, I don't know why I scheduled this for Wednesday. Like, I'm just not beat. But I knew that happens to me a lot. And then once I get talking and just being around you guys, after this, I'm going to be in a great mood and I'm going to be, a better person for having been in this chat with you guys. And that's what I think is really amazing. Me and the paranormal Bob Ross. We're trying to commission someone to draw because someone called me the paranormal pinup girl, which I thought was super cute and super funny. And I was like, I'm just going to roll with it. 38 years old, and this is my nickname.
Now,
So I'm like, whatever.
I've got a
So I'm trying to
pinup
commission someone
artist in
to
Southern
draw something
California
cool.
that's working on your pinup. I've got to find somebody to do mine.
Someone definitely. Are you going to go with the paranormal Bob Ross, though,
I don't
or the
know.
paranormal Mr. Rogers?
I don't have the
You need
poofy
to have a
Bob Ross
vote.
hair, and he didn't either. But when he started appearing on television, people liked that afro thing that he wore, and then he had to keep it. So I don't want to get locked into something. But I don't have a Mr. Rogers haircut either. You've seen me. I've got long hair, so I don't know.
We need to have a vote.
I'm sort of half. I'm Bob Rogers.
Now that's awesome. You need to have like the Mr. Rogers sweater with the fro while painting.
Mr. Rogers
And
and Bob Ross had a baby and then peed on it, and they called it Steve Stockton.
and then it got possessed. How about that? That's so funny. Yeah, the organized crime element. That too. I think that's who DeFeo tried to blame it on first. I'm not sure. Like I said, I would love to write to him because I'm wondering, did he know immediately like what had happened, or did he kind of black out and not know he did it? Come on, guys, with the White Castles. I could have had my son's father bring me some home.
Yeah,
And now you guys are mentioning it when it's too freaking late. I want White Castles.
Terry Brown is
Yeah.
mailing me some from Ohio. He said he's going to overnight them to me. He's going to freeze them and then overnight them to me, and I can't wait. I actually prefer crystals because I'm from the South, but I will take White Castles. Out here in Oregon, I can't get either one, so I'll take
Jack,
White
yeah.
Castles.
Jack, yeah, I've done the work before when I was like 25, dude. I feel like such an old lady. I don't know, but I thought it was cute, and I definitely do want to latch on to that nickname because I think it's hilarious. And I do think that Steve and I just make a great team. We're just different enough, but just enough like the same. We're both water signs. He's a Halloween baby. Still trying to get, don't forget, guys, next week, is it next week? Not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday after, my mom and my
28th.
son are going, the 28th, the day before my birthday. My mom and my son are going to be joining us live on the chat just to do what we always do, but just to have their input. My son Damien allowed me to tell everyone that although he does not try to embrace it and he wants nothing to do with it, he is in fact a psychic medium. I really believe he is. A lot of people believe he is, but he is only 16 years old. So I think that it really scares him. So he's going to be on. We're going to talk about some of that. My mom, we're going to talk about some of her experiences. I think there's something, I don't think my older sisters have experiences or any of their children do, but I know I do. I know my children do. And I really believe it's the Native American blood. My oldest son, I don't know if he still has it, but when he was younger, he did. My little guy now is just starting to give off that psychic vibe when he starts talking to people who aren't there, and his toys start going off, and I really think it's in the blood. And I've pushed it aside for so long. Now I'm finally embracing it, and I just feel so much more open and so much more light and so much more receptive to it that it's really scary sometimes. But I've got a lot of stories that are going to go in this book, guys.
Oh, and did
Yeah.
you mention that stream is going to be an extra long one, at least 2 hours?
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, no, I didn't, but you just did. I think it's going to be from 6 to 8, but it might still be 7 to 9. I'm not going to know till the end of this week. And I'm pretty sure on Friday night, depending on the weather here in New Jersey, because we're supposed to get another storm, but it's supposed to be overnight Thursday, so I don't know. I'll probably be joining Steve for his campfire stories as well this Friday, but
And
it's
we've
not
got a
100%
good one
because of the weather.
coming up this Friday. You want to be there for sure.
Cherokee and Iroquois, yes. Who you got coming on Friday?
It's a secret.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But
You
it has
said
to do with
that.
Florida.
If somebody goes and watches my Glimmerman story right now, you'll be the 1,000th person to watch it, and that's the most views I've ever gotten any video.
Go watch it right now
I
and
get
subscribe.
999 views. But oh yeah, that was my point about the February 28th live stream. Is March 1st is my birthday. I don't know. I know it's such an ambitious and lofty goal, but I would love to have the 1,000 subscribers by then. I'll be doing YouTube for a year, I think come May. I believe it's either the end of April, beginning of May. I don't remember. I have to go back and look. But my first video was called Hi, I'm Gemma Jade. And I hate that video. I was frumpy. I was very awkward and shy. I was afraid that because I didn't have fancy equipment, nobody was going to like me. And a lot of people disliked that video. So sometime within the next couple weeks, I'm doing a Hi, I'm Gemma Jade Now video. And I'm going to talk about some of the things that I've experienced in the past year doing all of this. And because I like to get a little personal with you guys, a lot of people do open up to me. I don't know if that's the Pisces in me, if that's the empath, if that's the intuition, what it is. A lot of people send me personal emails. They write personal comments. So I'm definitely going to redo that video, and I am going to be redoing some of my older true crime videos just to make it a little bit more comprehensive, because I was very stuttery and I'm not comfortable with the content.
And don't forget to talk about Crime Bomb.
Yes, and Steve has been gracious enough to produce for me audio only versions of all of the videos that I've done so far on my channel. And there's merch. So we have one design right now, which we are going to let you guys know when that's up, when that's out. He's going to do like 3 at a time. And that's going to be something else for me that Steve is helping me with, plus the book, plus, Hot Mess Recovery. I am definitely putting that back up. I'm taking the videos all down off of Gemma Jade, and I'm going to slowly put them back up while I do new content for my friends in recovery, because I have a lot of people that tell me they depend on me, they depend on those videos, and I don't want to let anybody down, and I need them too, because venting in that area of my life definitely helps. And then the astrology accreditation that I can read tarot now fairly well, and I eventually, maybe summer, fall at the latest, am going to start an astrology channel. I have my hands in so many pots and on so many plates, but I'm just having a great time, and everybody's been so patient. So, I really,
Crime
really
Bomb
appreciate
coming
it.
up on the screen there. And we
Yep,
changed it just a little bit from the way it was. She looked a little angry in that last one, so at least she's smiling in this one.
I put the angry face on my Snapchat because I was mad at one of my friends, who is the person I just realized commented that thing on on the live stream. So the face is about to go back to angry face. But yeah, I love that. When he showed me that, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, absolutely love it. So, and then, like I said, I most likely will be with Steve on Friday for the campfire stories. And then our usual Sunday night, Sunday nights,
Fireside chat.
I can't even think, live stream. I saw Bill W. You're not the only friend of Bill W. I am a friend of Bill W., but I do celebrate recovery more than I do AA or NA. But I think no matter what, we're all a community. And I think that, anybody who gets clean is a miracle. And I hardly ever talk about this. I'm only bringing it up now because I really think that the people who are hating on me because of that, there are plenty of other things you could make fun of me about. My last name rhymes with smelly. I have crooked teeth. I have an annoying voice. There are so many things. It's just getting old. So if any of my haters are listening, get some new material, please, because the addiction thing is just getting very, very old. You're playing yourself and wearing yourself out.
Oh, yeah. Anybody that has any comments about that, any further comments about that, they should write it out in paper, on long form, then roll it into a tight cylinder and put it where the sun doesn't shine. Then hold your breath for an answer. I'm going to get you in trouble on your own channel.
What else? I'm so happy. I've got 27 watching and 24 likes, 2
28 now.
dislikes.
It's those damn
Can you make fun
black-eyed
of the
kids.
Steelers?
I always get 2, and it's the
I
black-eyed.
know.
So it's 2 little girls that I didn't give a ride to that time that have haunted my dreams since they
So
show up
creepy.
for all the
I'm
streams.
working on BEK Stories Part 3, and I have some original ones that I'm putting in our book that I can't wait to show you. Some original ones, but I'm working on BEK Part 3, and you guys have to understand, when I'm not working upstairs in my room, like in the master bedroom, I don't have my office set up yet. So I work downstairs at the dining room table in the middle of the night because that's the only time I have. So it's between like 3 and 5 in the morning. And I'm sitting downstairs at my living room table, and I'm looking out into the woods in the front of my yard by a gigantic open with no curtains, no blinds, bay window. And then to the right of me is my front door, which is also halfway glass. It's like half of it is all glass that also has no curtain or blind. So I am fully exposed to whatever is outside on my front porch or in my front yard in the middle of the night during dead time. So, oh yeah, and I want my mom next week to discuss some of her seance experiences as well. She's done some seances with a really good psychic medium down here from Cape May named, I think it's Greg McManus. It might be Craig. I remember the last name because the Boondock Saints is like one of my favorite movies, and they were the McManus brothers. But so it's going to be really great on the 28th, and I'm just happy to be bonding with my son. And my mom and I have always been super close, and we've always bonded over stuff like this because we're like the only two in our family until my children that can actually see and hear things. And if my stepdad's listening, he doesn't believe in any of this at all. I told you guys, he once told me that if a ghost sat down and tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, I'm a ghost, you got to believe in me," he would be like, "No, I need proof." He just doesn't believe. But I'm calling him out if he's listening, because I heard that there was one room in the old townhouse they lived in that he would not sleep in, despite there being because he snores, so sometimes he would sleep in like a separate room, and he would not sleep in this one room. And my mother said when she asked him about it, he would not tell her why, but he would not go down into this room anymore. And when he was up in the middle of the night and couldn't sleep or something and walking around the house, not wanting to disturb anyone, instead of going down into this room in the basement to lay down and relax, he would literally sleep and lay down on the couch instead, just to avoid this room. Now, I want to know, Gary, if you're listening, I want to know what you saw, and I want Mom to tell us on the 28th.
Interesting. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to hearing your mom and your son's stories.
Oh,
that's going to be great. Yeah, poor Bombs.
I was very lucky that my mom and I always got along. My mom's really cool. My mom, we share clothes. She still shops in the junior section. She's always been I've always been very, very close with my mom. I'm a daddy's girl, but I'm definitely a mommy's girl too. And I'm my mom's youngest, and my mom's just really cool. She loves horror movies. She was always that cool mom. She had us kind of young. So, I feel really bad for people who don't have those relationships with their parents, or their parents unfortunately have passed or something like that. I've been so fortunate with both my parents, with my stepfather, just to have these great relationships in my life, and I do not take that for granted, definitely. So, and that's how I'd like to be with my kids. I want them to come to me with anything, and hopefully I can be half as good a mom as my mom was, and then I'll be happy.
Good job, Mama Carol.
I don't think she's still here. She probably went to sleep. She's like, that's another thing my mom and I have in common. My bedtime is 7:30 and hers is 8 o'clock. But I did see her pop in earlier to tell me she's proud of me and she loves me. But I haven't seen her since, so I think she's probably asleep.
Tell her to hang on to her hat. She ain't seen nothing yet.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everybody.
We got some big plans. And
Dragons.
It just works well together.
Yeah, it definitely does. Dragons, the baby of the family. It's funny because I'm my mom's youngest, so I'm her baby. But my parents divorced, so I'm my father's oldest, but my father will tell you that I'm the baby. He'll be like, yeah, that's my baby. So yeah, I am the baby, literally, of the family. Yep, so we're at 8:57, and speaking of being a mama, I have a toddler I have to lay down for sleep. Guys, everybody who showed up to support this first live of mine, all of my new subscribers, I noticed when Steve put this on the community tab on Missing Persons and Mysteries, I got like 17 new subscribers within like 15 minutes. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do that. I think all of y'all did because they're 24 and 24. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, if you guys wouldn't mind going over and doing that, I don't think you'll be disappointed in the content. You can reach me at gemmajadeyt@gmail.com, but don't expect an answer right away. But check out some of my stuff. I just did a pretty good video on Kelly Nash. And as I said, I'm going to start moving a little bit more into the paranormal in the next couple of months. I have a series, Old Time Criminals, and another series, Strange and Suspicious Celebrity Deaths. And I think other than those two, I'm going to make it work, but I am going to start doing a lot more paranormal stuff. And as time goes by and I start getting more free time, because I'm a stay-at-home mom. My babysitter quit on me out of the clear blue sky. And with COVID, I don't feel comfortable sending my son anywhere else. So I really don't have a lot of time. But I work really, really hard for that channel. I work really, really hard in everything that I do because this to me is my career. Even though I'm not getting paid, I get paid with the friendships and the respect and just knowing that there are people out there for me. I have so many 50, 60 emails that I can email them right now and say, hey, I'm having a bad night, and they'll be right there for me. So that's really something to an extreme introvert and someone who isolated themselves for like 9 years. So
Right on.
I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And Steve's going to take us out. So, mwah.
Oh, thanks for coming, everybody. Yeah, be sure and hit that subscribe button. You're on the channel, just to go ahead and subscribe to it. And we'll do these just whenever Gemma wants to. So watch for more in the future. What have I got going on tonight? Tonight, midnight. Ghost Stories at Midnight. I had to think for a moment. That's right after Dave Scott's Spaced Out Radio, which I also simulcast for KPNL. And then Friday night, have Missing Persons and Mysteries. Got a wonderful Florida episode that I think you're going to love, even if you've never been to Florida or don't have any interest in ever going, or you've been and don't ever want to go back like me. Still going to be a great show. So join us Friday. Again, thanks everybody that showed up and showing support for Gemma. See if we still can't get her to that 1,000 subscribers by her birthday. You've got until March 1st. So keep at it. Wake the kids, phone the neighbors. But Gemma is awesome. I love working with her. I love letting her put words in my mouth. She's written some of the best and most popular scripts that we've had on Missing Persons and Mysteries, and continue to do that. And said we've got a lot of plans together. We've got the book coming out, the other stuff on down the road. So stay in their corner and watch what we do. All right, folks, have a good evening. I'm going to go ahead and wind things up here. And if you're listening to this in the future, please go like and subscribe. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Steve Stockton, I love every one of you. Good night, good day, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'll talk to you next time.